Hey everyone, this is Isaac here, and welcome to the newest edition of Isaac Reviews 2023. Earlier this year, I reviewed a movie called 80 for Brady. Now, yes, it sucked, but one thing I brought up about my experience watching it in a theater was the fact that I was at least 30 years out of the target demographic. Granted, that didn't affect my dislike of the movie since I had plenty of other problems with it, but I felt like bringing it up because today's review is of something a little similar. Book Club: The Next Chapter. I say that because both focus on the antics of four elderly women and they both star Jane Fonda, but I figured I should also bring up the first book club, which my mom actually watched back in 2018 while I went to see this violation of the Geneva Convention. But for my thoughts on the first chapter, it was pretty mid, all things considered. I mean, the lead actresses all had some good chemistry, a few of the jokes were okay, and there was some solid shot composition, but my biggest gripe with this movie comes from its writing. Half of the movie is based on the title Book Club reading the 50 Shades trilogy and getting a similar feeling to a lot of 90s and 2000s kids seeing Lola Bunny for the first time. Now, sure, I usually don't mind sex humor, but it mostly boils down to the execution, which Book Club fails at since most of the time the joke is just that these 70-year-old women are talking about sex like a group of 7th graders. Overall, not the worst thing out there, but still very forgettable. So here we are now 5 years later, where for some reason, a new distributor decided, hey, why don't we make a sequel to Book Club? I mean, sure, the first one did okay at the box office, but seriously, who was asking for a sequel to Book Club? And around a time when its competition will almost certainly leave it in the dust financially. But whatever, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was actually very busy this weekend in terms of how I was able to see it. I saw it on Saturday and then saw Rally Road Racers about an hour later at my local Regal after getting some Taco Bell, not to mention I rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with my parents the following day. But for now, let's talk about Book Club 2 and what I thought of it. So this highly anticipated sequel sees our four main friends going on vacation to Italy after Jane Fonda's character gets engaged, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just four senior women going on a trip to Italy and wacky hijinks ensuing. That doesn't sound like much, but just as a reminder, this is Book Club 2 we're talking about. Obviously, I wasn't going into it expecting a profound, thought-provoking masterpiece, but the biggest surprise I got watching this movie was that it was actually an improvement over its predecessor. I mean, for one, there's a lot less pointless and annoying sex jokes, but there were honestly some fun scenes of the characters vibing in Italy, and I could really tell that the actors were having a great time. Despite that, Book Club 2 does carry some of the previous chapters' flaws with it, mostly with the writing. While there's nothing inherently wrong with a simplistic story, there's a lot of scenes here that can drag out for way longer than they need to, which was exemplified with this running gag of one of the characters having a rivalry with an Italian police officer. That, and overall, the movie can feel pretty boring at times. Not all the time, mind you, but there were a few scenes where the pacing grinded to a screeching halt, and I may or may not have checked my phone a few times just to keep myself entertained. Hey, my screening wasn't very crowded to begin with, and the only people there with me were at least 50. Even with those flaws, there's still some good qualities to be found in Book Club 2. Like last time, the four lead actresses have some enjoyable chemistry, and the movie was very well shot, but not only was the humor a lot better, but there was also some good costume design, the music was solid, and the ending was honestly pretty sweet. In conclusion, Book Club: The Next Chapter isn't the most thrilling read out there, but it's serviceable for what it's worth. Story-wise, it's very bare bones, but the actors' chemistry and okay humor make the experience a slight improvement from the last chapter. I guess you'll enjoy this if you liked the first Book Club, or if you have any relatives over the age of 50, then there's no harm in watching this. But otherwise, I don't think there's any real urge to go out of your way to see it on the big screen when Guardians 3 is probably playing in the next theater over. 6 out of 10, currently the best Jane Fonda movie I've seen this year, although I have a feeling Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken will be taking that mantle eventually. Next time, I'll be reviewing something you probably didn't know existed until I mentioned it, Rally Road Racers. I also didn't know it existed until maybe a week ago, and after watching it, I kinda wish I still didn't know it existed. Thanks for watching this episode of Isaac Reviews 2023. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!